Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, as the selling season winds down, I would think that there are quite a few home sellers who have homes that did not sell. We saw that a while ago. What are the reasons they are not selling, and what can people do about that?
Well, Richard, I think that pretty much almost every home seller I speak with wants the most money, but how they approach getting the most money doesn't always work. And part of the reason is that the tech companies out there like Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, that's where most of the buyers are searching. The buyers are getting really good information about everything around it, whether or not it's a good buy, and whether or not they want to go see it. So that's a big change from what it was back in before the internet was a thing, before Zillow was a thing, which to me didn't seem that long ago. In fact, I looked back on one of my listings, and we're actually reselling it. I sold it over 20 years ago. We're reselling it here coming this fall. And looking at the pictures, I was like, oh, those are so bad. I think I only had 3 pictures. They were very granulated, but that was the market norm at the time. Actually, 3 pictures was probably an upgrade. A majority of the agents didn't have pictures at all. Most of them were difficult to find online. And so the buyers had to physically go look at houses. My personal record with one buyer is we physically went and looked at 127 houses. They finally bought the 127th. And that has completely changed. Most buyers are making a decision as to whether or not they're even going to go check out the home based on the online information. So that's your first showing is online. And if you don't get that right, buyers are moving on their phone. They just swipe on by. So it's absolutely critical that you get what I call the 4 P's right: preparing your home for sale, pricing it realistically versus optimistically, making sure whoever you hire is properly promoting the home, and of course, picking the right team to get it sold. Because some people aren't very good at marketing. I was just looking at pictures the other day on a property that had been languishing on the market for a while, and I'm like, wow, these photos, it's an easy fix to me. It looked like an easy fix, but I couldn't interfere with somebody else's listing. I just looked at it and went, well, you know, there could be some improvement there, but that's why it's so important on who you hire to handle the sale. So you can also sell homes as is. I just sold one about a month ago that really needed quite a bit of work, but it was in a great location. The sellers decided we're going as is. We're going at a very aggressive price. We had a huge crowd at the open house. We had 4 buyers competing against each other, and we ended up getting $20,000 over the asking price. And had we asked that number out of the gate, we would have never gotten it, because they'd have picked it apart saying, well, it needs this, it needs that. It did need carpet. It did need some work on the siding. It had this and that had to be done. But we commanded the highest price. And actually the sellers did not take the highest number. There was another offer that was 20,000 above that, but they didn't take it because they didn't think it was going to close that soon. And they felt like they were going to get led into doing a bunch of repairs. Like the government loans have certain rules about the condition of the home. VA and FHA require certain things. So they are things like peeling paint on the outside, broken windows, missing outlet covers, missing stair rails. Sometimes the appraisers will ask for the covers on window wells to be covered in case a kid or a dog or something could fall inside those, or any safety or trip hazards around the home. So those are some of the things for government loans that had to be done. So this home really didn't qualify for a government loan as it stood. And that's why they decided to take the next best offer, which was a little bit less. So we are seeing a pretty good surge In pending sales, we're seeing a good surge in the number of available homes. So it was up by 25% from 23 to 24 and another 25% from 24 to 25. So that's good if you're a buyer, you have more choices to choose from, okay? But it's tougher if you are a seller because you have more houses to compete against. So when you have inventory, right now, I was just talking to one of my clients the other night, and he goes, it seems to me it's about 4 months supply on the market. And I said, that's right. That means of the 4,000, as an example, the Pikes Peak region, 4,000 homes on the market. If we just went with those and didn't put anything else on the market, it would take 4 months to sell all of them. But it doesn't work in a bubble like that, unfortunately. And so pricing is probably one of the most critical factors that a home seller can decide on when they go on the market. If they overprice a home, what's going to happen is it's going to sit on the market, or the buyer, there'll be some light showings and the buyers will kind of pick it apart. Well, it needed this and it needed that. And it's really frustrating for a home seller, you know. So that's why pricing is absolutely critical. And, you know, I think that a lot of real estate agents do not really pay close attention to what's going on in the market. They don't really study what's going on. And they basically, especially if they work in buyers, you know, they let them in the house, they go in with them. If the buyer loves it, woohoo, okay, we're going to look at similar sales and maybe make an offer if the buyer wants to make an offer, if they have good closing skills. Sometimes they will keep showing them other homes and nothing happens. So in the last 5 years, we had this huge surge in prices, probably 2018, really 7 years until 2022, the middle of 2022, the prices were going up substantially. I would say we had values almost doubled during that time period. But when the rates went up, then the buyers couldn't afford the homes anymore, right? So ever since then, we've had just little ticks here and there of the pricing going up. But in general, it's been relatively flat on home values. So when you put your home on the market, if you don't get all these things just right, what I call the 4 Ps, pricing, preparation, promotion, and picking the right agent, you have less than a minute to make an impression with the buyer. And most of the buyers are looking at what's new on the market. They're always trying to consume data if they're actively searching. I think studies indicated a typical buyer will look at anywhere from 3 to 5 different websites because they don't think they're getting correct data on the ones that they're searching on. They won't necessarily just stick with one. And as a home seller, you've got less than a minute to make an impression with them. My colleague Jen, she calls it speed dating. That's basically all you have to make an impression. And if all the stars don't align at the right time, at the right price, the buyers will choose not to go. So that's one way you can tell that you overpriced your home. And I've worked with some corporate sellers in the past. I have one client right now, the asset management company for the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. And we've done quite a few listings over the years. And just talking to them, you know, they are top producing essentially because they're handling hundreds. Any one asset manager is probably handling hundreds of properties. They know exactly how to sell homes. And the first thing they do out of the gate is price it realistically. And if that doesn't work in 30 days, boom, they're going to lower the price. And then if we get a buyer that nibbles, I've had them say stuff like, don't let that buyer get away. Go back. Let's talk again. And I think that's kind of what you have to do in this market right now. So it's very, very important that you price your home realistically. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about the reasons why a house may not be selling. And when we come back, we're going to touch on a few things to make your home sell faster and for the most money. Richard?
Barb, we're discussing why a house may not be selling. So, what are some things that home sellers should do to sell fast and, of course, for the most money?
Well, I would say you have to start with a selling strategy. Not every home seller wants to sell at the top of the market value. Some of them just want it done. Some of them are very focused. I ask them, what are they focused on? Are they focused on timing? Are they focused on getting the most money? Are they in a hurry? What is their ideal plan on what they're going to do when they sell the house? What is their destination? Do they have that destination? And so there are some people, I've had people walk into my office and go, hey, I need to sell my house. Let's do it fast. And we can make it happen. And that one never went on the market. We had multiple buyers bidding on it and he got top dollar, but we never went on the market. So that happens sometimes. But if you want full market value, guess what? The buyers are expecting it all. They will pick apart the dumbest things. Like I have one home, it just went under contract, but overall it's spectacular. The kitchen's remodeled, the flooring's great. The master bath is just stunning, really stunning condition, great location, but the carpet in the basement's a little bit old. So, okay. So one person rejected that house over a $2,000 repair. So if you could imagine, why would they turn their nose up when it's just a simple little thing that could make the difference of them having a great home and a great location at a great price? Why would they turn their nose up at that? So we see that a lot. Things like popcorn ceiling makes the buyers turn their head up. It just little stupid stuff. So you have to get everything ready if you're going to go for full market value. And it's absolutely critical to price it right. We'll go into a little bit more deep dive about pricing, but in general, one of the reasons why you can tell if a home is not going to sell is based on the activity. If you're getting offers, pretty much right out of the gate and good showing activity, chances are you're on target. Maybe that's not the right buyer, but you're on target, right? If you're getting very limited showings and no offers, you're off. You could be off by as much as 5% in this market, depending on the price range. And if you're getting showings, more frequent showings, but no offers, you're just a little bit off. It could be just a minor thing that it takes to improve it. So we know how to do that. And if you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to talk to us about how to get top dollar for your home, we have a whole team of people that will help you do that. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. We actually show up with a whole bunch of offers just to get you started. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, simply call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. When we come back, we'll be discussing what are the expenses of actually selling a house here in Colorado. Barb knows, she'll share it with you.